Wrong direction. Collisions. Exclusive to Supersport, the Paris-Dakar Rally is proudly sponsored by Total Quartz Lubricants.
The penultimate day of the Paris-Dakar 2001 sees Pascal Maimon lose it and stand right in front of Jose Maria Servia's buggy. Controversial circumstances indeed. More news in a moment. Therefore, Jean-Louis Schlesser goes on to win the stage. And Giovanni Sala is victorious in the bikes. What you missed from yesterday. Now this is the local Senegalese rider, Les Diallo, getting up early yesterday morning, and he's saying, well, when I was younger, it was my ambition to do the Dakar, because only one Senegalese has done the Dakar before. And every time I see him, I always said in my head that when I was older, I would do the Dakar. Struggling a little with some injuries, the local rider returning to Dakar today. It's very difficult, he says, each morning when you have pain and you're tired, but you've got to keep going. A wrist injury and a chin injury. Set off yesterday for Tambacounda, but not without some more problems. As you can see by his right foot, he's lost the footrest. Nowhere to put my foot. And if he wasn't tired enough already, that will certainly tire him out. On board with Yellow, he says, it's a super day today. I have tears in my eyes because 18 days ago I left my home and now I see my country, and all I can do now is dream about finishing in Dakar. But of course, I find it difficult to stand up on the bike. I find it very hard indeed with only one footrest. And he nearly gets caught out here.
Tu veux un bout de clé, un bout de clé, un bout de clé. Peut-être un coup de marteau, je le mets dedans, tu peux poser ton pied dessus. En attendant, hein?
Locals here saying, do you want help? And indeed they find a spanner and put it in to make a footrest. And indeed he goes on his way.
Une maison pour monsieur? Je pense qu'il va finir ses jours ici s'il n'arrive pas chez lui.
He says here, if I don't finish, I'll be disappointed, not only for myself, but for everybody in my country. So therefore, I must get to the finish.
Franchement, on est très content parce que même s'il n'arrive pas à
One of the locals here saying, for us, he is a hero. And even if he doesn't get there, he is still our hero, because at least he has got to Senegal. penultimate stage of the Paris-Dakar Rally 2001 from Tambacounda to Dakar itself before a short super special on the final day. A road section and then a stage of 217 kilometers. It was actually the same stage that was used last year, but this time it's run in the opposite direction. A fast start and then a denser second half with regards to the vegetation. The motorbikes set off early this morning, their final really early start underneath the Senegal dawn. 7:30 this morning, the sun came over the horizon. Not that the crews had much time to view it. However, it was Giovanni Sala who was getting all crossed up at times, but the KTMs were dominant once more. Italian victorious today, and everybody in high spirits. Alain Duclos, the Frenchman, well, he was 10th today. We saw him do so well a couple of days ago when he finished 4th, when he went home, in inverted commas, to Mali. Cyril Desprez, the Frenchman who was victorious yesterday, was not so lucky at times today. Cyril Desprez crashed, but so did PG Lundmark. The Swedish hero had a terrible crash some 20 kilometers into the stage, and initial tests and reports have said that he's got a broken wrist and, more painfully so, a dislocated shoulder. Poor PG Lundmark on the production machine, so close and yet so far. America's Jimmy Lewis on another BMW having a good day. Lewis continuing on, and 3rd position for him, some 4 minutes back. Jean Brucy was 4th, Kari Tiernan was 5th. But so far as the German BMWs were concerned, they were up there towards Dakar, after, of course, the loss of Juan Roma on the halfway point. Donkeys in the way for Britain's John Deacon. Deacon was 6th, 5.5 minutes back. But really only a short stage today, some 2.5 hours, the time taken for Giovanni Sala. Through the villages they sped, and the local population was just not interested at times. Here Hubert Auriol saying, well, we have to do everything on the Dakar, and unfortunately the finish has been positioned in the wrong place today, so I'm going to do it myself. He gets his watch out, and he times the riders coming in on the finish. Arcaron's on the right, Mioni in the middle. And Mioni, just those few more kilometers to go. His son was there, his wife as well, flown in from Europe. Jordi Arcaron's a warm pat on the back, and an emotional family moment. Sala victorious, 2 hours and 28 minutes dead. Desprez a little bit more. Lewis, Brucy and Tiernan. Good for Lewis's morale to be in 3rd after his injured wrists earlier in the rally. However, Mioni still holds that overall lead of 25 minutes from Arcaron, Stugavado, Puyol and Cox. Fabrizio Mioni here telling us at the finish, well, this victory here with my family, well, it's wonderful. With Helena, my wife, and Joel, my son, and all the time that I take away from them, this victory pays all our sacrifices and pains that we have taken to arrive at this moment. Silda Prey here saying, I was here just to learn, and today I had to pass my exam to know if I was able to lead from the front. I succeeded, and that was a great moment for 70 kilometers. But I did make a mistake in the village, but I saw it immediately. It's a good experience, and now I want to come back next year and do it all again.
Et vite que le Dakar prochain soit là pour que je refasse la même chose.
So then, Fabrizio Mioni on the right. He's done 10 Dakars, 2 podiums, a third and a second. But the battle with Jordi Arcarons, who's doing his 13th Dakar, he's also had podiums, but more. 5 podiums, 2 thirds and 3 seconds. Back in 92, Mioni was 12th, but it was a third for Arcarons. In 1993, Mioni retired, but Arcarons was third. In 94, the Paris-Dakar went to Dakar and then back to Paris. But the last stage between Orioli and Arcarons, there was just 1 minute between them. In the end, Orioli was victorious, Arcarons second, Mioni third. In 1995 and 1996, Arcarons was second both years, whilst Mioni was 4th and 38th. Mioni was unlucky after he broke his arm, but it was also a black year as Arcarons hit a dog in 97 and was out on the stage from Timbuktu to Neymar. In 98, Mioni was second and Arcarons was 6th. In 99, Mioni retired on the very last stage, right on the sand of the Dakar beach. And last year, an engine blew for Arcarons, but it was a crash for Mioni that put them both out. This year, though, well, it's Mioni's turn to be victorious. He leads 25 minutes ahead of Arcarons. Well, this has really been one of the most controversial days of the 23-year history of the Dakar. Right at the time control this morning, the official here saying to Pascal Maimon, he says, look, you see, I told you to come earlier. The buggies arrived before you. Now they've taken a 3-minute penalty and a 1-minute penalty. Therefore, the 2 Schlesser buggies started first and second on the road, even though Masuoka should have started first on the road after he won the stage yesterday. Masuoka therefore started third on the road, 2 minutes between each of the cars in the car section. So then, with Schlesser having an extra 1-minute penalty, the lead of Masuoka was just a little greater. Now, Servia let Schlesser through. Schlesser's right at the top of your screen. Servia's in the middle, and Masuoka taking to the fields to try and find a way around Servia's dust. But of course, it's a risky maneuver at times. This Dakar rally is full of potholes, full of ditches, and anything can catch you out. And indeed, that is exactly what did happen to Hiroshi Masuoka. He hit a tree stump with the rear left wheel, and you can see it already askew, not running true to the rear of the car. And now back in the dust of Servia's vehicle, you can see that wheel is absolutely bucking and ruining, and Masuoka's, even his skill of all the Dakars, he cannot keep it in line. However, he decides to go for one more lunge past Servia. This is early in the stage. He hits the tree with the windscreen. It's all drama and action, and the wheel continues to struggle to hold on to the Mitsubishi Pajero. And after only a few more kilometers, how long could it last? Schlesser, in the meantime, is rushing away into the distance towards the Dakar on the horizon, and what could be a 3rd consecutive victory for the Frenchman. But eventually the Japanese machine that had run faultlessly all rally finally cried enough after having hit that tree stump. You can hear the engine revs on board with our microphone. They are getting lesser and lesser, and soon it could go no more. And Masuoka's lead had dissipated. Pascal Maimon leaps from the Mitsubishi, and in an act of, well, who knows, he stands in front of the Servia buggy as it hounds down upon the Frenchman. And did it hit the Frenchman? We know not, but that was so risky. Servia on the brakes, and finally Maimon cannot take it anymore. The Dakar is the biggest motorsport event in the world, and it's certainly the most emotional. Soon, though, Jean-Pierre Fontenay arrives in the sister Mitsubishi. Maimon still absolutely fuming with rage as one of the officials then arrives, but it matters not. Mashioka, in the meantime, is trying to mend the wheel with Jean-Pierre Fontenay, who says, I can't believe it. It's just crazy, unbelievable. It's a nightmare.
Ce qu'on a vécu, c'est qu'il a fait exprès de pointer en avance.
Maimon here saying Schlesser organised it to start first. We were 100 meters behind Servia and 100 meters further back of Schlesser in a big cloud of dust. But their plan was good. When we went left to go around Servia, we then hit a tree stump and we broke the wheel. We continued for a few more kilometers down the road, and Schlesser continued to make more dust. It's not sport, it's not fair. Fontenay, in the meantime, as he did a few days ago, helps out his Mitsubishi teammate. In the meantime, the lead of Mashioka has dissipated and gone away in the dust. Schlesser continues on the stage, driving well within himself, even though he had to pass many of the motorcycles, and eventually Schlesser went on to win the stage today by 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Numbers mean nothing today. It's the drama of the Dakar that has come down to 1 point. Servia was second on the stage today, those 5.5 minutes back of his teammate in the sister Schlesser buggy. Carlos Souza was third, the leading Mitsubishi today. Mashioka, in the meantime, finished 52 minutes behind the leader Schlesser. Therefore, Jutta Kleinschmidt, who finished fourth on the stage today, she is now second overall. The Eagles soared, and Schlesser was now in the lead of the rally. Grégoire de Mavius, the leading Belgian on the stage today with his Nissan, the leading Nissan coming into Dakar. He was a few seconds quicker than the other Belgian in the top 10 overall, Stefan Orard, whose turbo diesel buggy, the engine is just about going to hold out to the finish tomorrow. He's been running into some problems, but he will get there. So just a recap. Fontenay finishing 31st on the stage today. Mashioka 36, losing some 52 minutes. Schlesser leads overall from Kleinschmidt. Mashioka is now third, 45 minutes in the greater scheme of things behind the overall leader. The rulebook says you can do it, but then the morals come into it. Henri Pescarolo, the Frenchman in his Nissan, similar to that of de Mavius. He was 12th, just one place behind the Kia racing machine in the event, Kurt Leduc. He had a good run once more, and he was 11th. Not a good day though for Thierry Delaverne. Delaverne had a big moment, rolling his Nissan, seriously damaging the front end, and Delaverne losing an awful lot of time. On board here with Henri Pescarolo, he says, I was going quickly this morning, but then we saw Delaverne's accident where he damaged his car. We helped him with a few spare wheels as the front wheels of his car was severely damaged. We're going slower and our rear wheels are not quite right. There seems to be something wrong with the rear axle, and indeed you can see the attitude of the car just not quite running in a straight line.
Alors donc sur la fin spéciale, j'ai calmé un petit peu le jeu, mais sans ça, ça allait bien.
And at the moment of this broadcast, Delaverne not on the results as yet. T1 though was won today by Thierry Magnaldi in his Mercedes, the Italian coming in a fine 15th overall. that is what the results say. Schlesser, quickest from Servia, Sousa, Kleinschmidt and Demavius. People will never remember the results from today. They will always talk about the dramas. Schlesser leads overall now from Kleinschmidt, Mashioka third, Servia fourth, Sousa fifth. So let's hear what everyone had to say about it. Jean-Louis Schlesser saying what happened. Well, we made a mistake arriving at the start line this morning by 2 or 3 minutes. That's all. The question being, in the zone there were 4 cars. The start zone, he means. Well, yes, we were in front. And in the start zone, no one can overtake. When we saw our mistake, it was too late. But it was not important. And there is no overtaking in the zone, remember. Henri Mann here, the co-driver for Schlesser, saying we played an anticipated start and we took risks for a penalty. This surely put pressure on Mashioka. Jean-Marie Lequin, co-driver for Servia, saying in the WRC it's a tactic. The co-driver didn't understand that he couldn't overtake in the start zone. It's clear. But he just has to follow Jean-Louis and he wins. I don't understand why he was so angry. I repeat, if he follows Jean-Louis, he wins the race. Jean-Louis took the penalty, so with an extra 2 or 3 minutes advantage, he had an advantage on the stage. Ulrich Bremner here, the boss of Mitsubishi, saying we have to understand how these things can happen in a normal rally. There is no problem in the WRC because if someone starts in front of you, you tend to keep your advantage because they are such shorter stages. But here in the Dakar, all is different. Yesterday, Mashioka worked a lot to keep his starting position for first on the road this morning, and we have the impression that his first place of this morning has been robbed by Schlesser. I think it's not sport.
So today we are unlucky.
You were driving very fast.
No.
What percentage were you driving?
So next time we will try to win.
Carol Laprace continues to lead into Dakar with his Tatra. The monsters, not so much of the desert, but soon to be of the cool sea air on the Senegalese coast. Laprace has driven throughout the 3-week event, up against the MANs, up against the Mercedes, up against the Kamazes, and of course the Hino. The Hino of Sugawara is in second. Johan Peter Reif in his MAN, the KTM machine, is third. So tomorrow, the last stage of the Dakar 2001. 25 kilometres, a short road section before a run around the edge of Lac Rose. And after the podium, the competitors come back into central Dakar in convoy before the prize giving at the Meridian Hotel. Well, I've said it many times before, but what a day that was. The Dakar will not lie down. One more day to go.